Pixar's WALL-E is a prequel to A Bug's Life. Hello, and welcome back, Disney and Pixar fans. We have another fun theory that we would like to talk about today that involves the timeline of the Pixar Cinematic Universe. Specifically, this is centered around WALL-E, which was released by Pixar in 2008, and how it is possibly the prequel to A Bug's Life. Do you know what the seedling form that WALL-E found ended up becoming? Be sure to watch until the end to see if you were right. Before we get into today's video, if you are a fan of all things Disney and Pixar, be sure to subscribe to our channel. We upload videos frequently and cover topics ranging from general movie discussions to fan theories and Easter eggs. If that interests you, please like and subscribe, and be sure to turn on notifications so you don't miss any of our magical uploads. Alright, let's not waste any more time and dig right in. Pixar's WALL-E is set around the year 2800, and it's centered around the main character WALL-E. WALL-E is a robot that was made with the specific job of cleaning up Earth. At this point in time, Earth had been polluted to the point where it had become uninhabitable by people. Thus, mankind took to living a life among the stars, leaving WALL-E behind to clean up their mess, literally. At first, WALL-E spends his day going about a set routine, and we see that the Earth is covered in trash and scrap. It seems almost non-existent of any form of life. That is, until WALL-E stumbles upon a seedling that had recently begun to sprout. He gathers it safely and stores it in a cooler of sorts. Then, in comes Eve, an egg-shaped robot that's searching for life on Earth. Immediately, the lovable WALL-E is smitten. When WALL-E shows Eve his most recent discovery, she immediately collects it and appears to shut down. She goes into a standby mode and waits to be picked up by the same unmanned probe that dropped her off. WALL-E decides to tag along because of how he feels for her. Throughout their travels, they end up discovering that there is an evil AI program that has been purposefully keeping the humans from going back to Earth. WALL-E and Eve take it upon themselves to fix this. They work together to defeat the AI, thus allowing life to begin anew on Earth now that the humans know it can sustain life once more. Now, A Bug's Life is a completely different type of Pixar movie. Instead of space living and a waste-filled Earth, it follows Flik the ant as he tries to put an end to the grasshopper's reign of terror. Flik isn't like a lot of the other ants in his colony. While they are content with the way that they do things, Flik is always looking for ways to improve, mainly in the form of new inventions. His most recent invention would help to increase the rate at which the ants can collect the seeds that they rely on as a food source, as well as the food that they use to keep the grasshoppers at bay. This new invention ends up causing more trouble than it's worth when it accidentally causes the collection pile that they had set up for fall to fall off its leaf setting and into the water below. When the grasshoppers arrive and there is no feast for them, they are enraged and threaten the ants. They tell them that they have until the last leaf falls to provide them with the food they agreed to. Flik doesn't like living in fear of Hopper and his gang, so he decides to find some bugs that can take on grasshoppers and free his colony. In the end, he ends up finding performer bugs, particularly circus performers. However, through the use of Flik's ingenuity as well as help from his new friends in his colony, who was now supporting him, Flik comes up with a way to put fear into the grasshoppers, and he ultimately saves his whole colony while making some new friends along the way. Now, you may be asking yourself, what do either of these films have to do with another, other than the fact that they are both Pixar movies? Well, actually, it would seem like they take place in the same universe. In fact, the theory says that WALL-E is the prequel to A Bug's Life. The theory shows us that the plot of WALL-E actually takes place over the course of 700 years, give or take. It was actually in the 21st century when the corporate, by and large, ascended to a level of power in which they controlled the Earth and its heavy consumption. Over time, though, their corporate greed and lack of proper waste management systems ended up polluting the Earth to the point of no return, literally filling it with garbage to the point where they had to invent robots like WALL-E to clean it up for them. These robots had the sole job of gathering and burning all of the waste that they could find. However, if by and large hadn't been looking for a quick fix to the mess that they had created, they may have done some research before burning all of the garbage. That research would have told them that burning the waste would only make matters worse for them. And that's exactly what happened. The emissions given off by burning trash ended up speeding up the pollution process, thus driving humans from the Earth and forcing them to find comfort in space. Over time, the humans adapted to a very lazy lifestyle in space, thanks to the help of AI and robots. However, all of this changes at the end of WALL-E when humans discover that they may be able to return to the place that they once called home. This is when we transition into A Bug's Life, which, according to this theory, takes place right after the humans manage to come back to Earth. While the humans were gone, the bugs were still around, just like the cockroach that we see in WALL-E. This means that these bugs have never encountered humans before. And since the humans are just now returning, it also means that there aren't many around yet. But upon returning, the humans planted the seedling that Eve and WALL-E brought to them. The same seedling that showed them that life was possible on Earth once more. The seedling thrived once it hit the soil and ended up actually growing into the tree that we see in A Bug's Life, thus leading us into the adventures of Flik and his ant colony. This would fit hand in hand with the theory that all Pixar movies take place in the same universe. A Bug's Life fits very nicely into this part of the timeline. The Pixar Cinematic Universe is an ever-expanding work of art that consists of 24 movies and counting. With upcoming films like Turning Red, fans really can't wait to see where the timeline is going to take us next. What do you think? Did WALL-E take place before A Bug's Life? Be sure to let us know. That's all, Disney fans. Let us know what you thought of this video in the comments and like and subscribe for more magically packed videos.